I love helping my clients bring in money. All right, guys. So as you're joining live, welcome. We've got Elsie, we've got Kim, we've got Letitia. How are you? We've got David. So good to have you guys tonight. I am so excited that you're here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And hey, if you're joining on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, definitely pop a comment. Let me know that you're here. That is the only way that I can see you. So I am super excited that you guys are joining tonight. And I am just really curious for you guys who are here live, who has any sort of limiting beliefs that have shown up around money for you? And part of why and just like give me some hearts or type like a yes in the comments if you have. Part of why I'm so passionate about this topic is that I used to struggle with these so much. And, you know, in healing this and doing a lot of the work that we're talking about, in this series, like I've been able to overcome a lot of them. Elsie's saying, yes. Hi, Letitia. What are some of the limiting beliefs that show up for you? Like, what are some of the specific limiting beliefs around money? Is it like, there's not enough, it's scarcity? Like, what are some of the things? And I want to help you guys like work through these tonight, because this is to have what you want in this life, you have to have money. Okay. That's just like, it's just a thing. It just is what it is. And and so it's really, really important to be able to release these. So, hey, Faye over on LinkedIn. It's good to see you too. I'm so glad you're here. So tonight we are talking about, while you guys are putting those in the comments, tonight I'm going to share with you a process from this book. So for those of you who are joining for the first time, welcome. We are going through this book series, Ask and It Is Given, by Abraham Hicks. It's incredible. And so we're talking all about how to release resistance to what you want. There's a free companion guide that goes along with this. You can get it at elisearcher.com/resistance. And you want to have that as we go through tonight. So I'm just checking, let's see here. So Bambi's saying limiting belief that I was not making enough and I never have enough. Elsie's saying limiting belief, I'm not smart enough to make the kind of money I want. Wow. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And it's from my perspective, that's part of why, like with coaching, it's why I have coaches, why a lot of, why my clients hire me is we say these things to ourselves in our heads, right? And we don't even realize how disempowering they are. But like that, so Bambi, like limiting belief that I was not making enough and I never have enough, so I talk a lot about this, but this is so true, guys. So we have to be so mindful of our language, right? And I know right now we're kind of just like putting it all out there, which is good, because sometimes we have to get the thought out of our body onto paper or onto your comments screen. But whatever you describe, you prescribe. And so this is so important. Whatever follows the words I am is a direct command to your subconscious to create more of that for you. And I didn't get this. And I wondered why for so long in my life, I would have like the same results show up again and again and again. Because what happens is your current physical experience, and we're going to talk specifically around money tonight, is a result of your past thinking, feeling, and actions. So there's the thinking, feeling, action, results loop, right? So whatever you think creates a feeling in your body. So the thought of I'm not good enough to make more money creates the feeling, right, of like, anxiety, constriction. Like even when I say that, it doesn't feel good in my body. And then that leads to really not very powerful behavior, right, around sales outreach or client calls or, how you invest your money, which leads to really, not impressive results. So it makes sense, right? There's this loop that our thoughts do create our results. But so what we must learn to do is to speak as if, to say the words that the person who has the amount of money that you want would say. And this is where I've told you guys, like there is a time period when you're shifting your reality where you're going to feel like you sound crazy. Like we just have to all get over it, okay? Because if you really want to do this and you really want to do it fast and allow more money and more abundance to come in fast, you have to start speaking as if it was already there. And because everything carries a vibration. That's what this whole series is about, right? Words carry a vibration. The words you say you're putting that vibration into your body. All right. So the vibration of a word that's like grateful, right, is very different from the vibration of the word fear. And this is where, if you guys have studied, what was his name? Who did the water experiment? Do you guys know the water experiment from years and years ago? I think he was a Japanese scientist, but he did the study where he literally put words outside on glasses of water. And then he looked at the water under a microscope, and the individual like water crystals looked totally different. They were beautiful on the glasses of water that had those higher vibrational words. And then on the glasses of water that had words like shame, or he put like Hitler on a glass, it was just really ugly looking. Like the water molecules turned really ugly looking. So look this up on YouTube. It's incredible. But your body is mostly water. And so the words you say matter. The words you say impact the way that your body feels. It impacts the vibration of your body, and they actually can lead ultimately to disease or health. So this goes way beyond just money, right? And I'm going to try to like keep it focused on just money tonight. But it's really important that now that you've like let this out in the comments and said, hey, these are the limiting beliefs that are showing up for me. When you find yourself saying it or even thinking it, stop it, because now you're aware that you're describing your current reality, but it will stay your reality unless you start saying and thinking different things. So we want to catch it now. I was laughing last night with my husband, Jason, because we were like, I could feel like I was saying something and I could feel it was going in the direction of lower vibrational. And I literally stopped at mid-sentence. And then he started to, and like, he knows this stuff now too. We sound like a bunch of loons, like hanging out together. We sound like we're out of our minds. He started to say something in response. And then he was like, oh, wait, but no, that's actually not that helpful. And he shut himself off. And we're like, how do you like this has got to be a ridiculous like SNL skit. Like, and for all the women who are in my program, you guys are doing it too. And so for your partners, or people who are your significant others, we decided we need a support group for people who are dating or just in the, married to or partnered with women who are learning to really watch their language. Bambi saying sounds like my house. Yeah. It makes for very interesting or not interesting conversation, because you like, when you're working out of that lower vibrational place, you don't even get a sentence out without being like, stop, I'm not going to say that. Let's see here. So Elsie saying, I am smart, I am capable, and I'm increasing my vibrations. Yes, exactly. And you're going to say that for a while, and it's not going to feel totally true for you yet. And that's fine, because all that a belief is just a thought you repeat to yourself again and again and again and again and again. And so what we're doing here is we're changing beliefs, because your belief systems determine your paradigm, like how you see the world, which is going to determine the results that you get. So your belief systems have gotten you to where you are right now. And for any of you who don't have yet in your physical experience, the money you want, the relationship you want, the health you want, all that means is that there's been a belief system running the show behind the scenes that has created resistance for you around having that thing, right? You saw your parents struggle with money, or you saw your parents struggle in relationship, or even just like the media, right? This is why guys, like late night infomercials, right? That come on at the end of the night when your brain is closer to theta state and you're more hypnotizable. They come on and they tell you that you're sick and that you need this drug and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it's all science. It's all like, they know what they're doing. It's not a mistake, but you have to be so mindful of what you let in your mind, because it will determine your belief systems. And that, like we've talked about this, your subconscious will never make you a liar. So if you have a belief system that money flows easily and abundantly to you, guess what? It will, because then your subconscious is going to go to work looking for ways to make that your reality. So it will now start to pay attention to opportunities, people, resources that are going to help make that your reality. Whereas before, because the belief system was money is hard for me to make, your subconscious said, okay, money's hard for you to make. So literally an opportunity would come up that would have been really great for you to create or receive money. And your subconscious would have blocked it and filtered it because it didn't align with what you believe. So this is where, if you guys, has anybody heard about the reticular activating system? So it's kind of like the bouncer, like the gatekeeper in your brain, because there's so much information coming at you. There's something like, it's over 1 million bits of information at a time. I'm learning this right now in my NLP training, but your brain will only take in a little over 200 bits of information at any given time. And so it has to filter. The job of your reticular activating system is to filter everything out that doesn't align with your belief systems. So that's why when we change the belief, all of a sudden, your brain goes to work making it your reality. And again, because we live in time lag, there's a period where it will have become a belief, but it won't yet have manifested in physical form, because now your brain is, so like once you accept the belief, now your brain is going to go to work looking for opportunities to make that your reality. And you must now act on those too. So there's these dynamics at play, but it must become your reality as long as you continue to embrace that belief. So tonight we're talking about embracing beliefs about money and shifting our beliefs about money. I just want to do a quick check-in on comments. So David is saying, I tend to be conservative or realistic about what's possible, most likely out of fear for being too optimistic and falling short. Yes. So I have learned, David, I'm completely unrealistic with what I want and what I expect. And the results that I get when I think that way are completely unrealistic too. So the quote unquote realistic thing is, and you're saying it made me feel bad inside to hear, is it no longer serves me. Yeah, you know that's not true for you, right? Like, you know that that's not true. If we were just realistic, we would not have an airplane. Okay. So when the Wright brothers, who were bicycle mechanics, decided that they wanted to create something that flew, their father told them they would literally burn in hell. So their father was, I think he was a Methodist preacher, and he told them they would burn in hell for trying that and creating that. But guess what? Because they were unrealistic, because they were unreasonable, they created something that all of us use now that we probably couldn't imagine our reality without. When President Kennedy asked Wernher von Braun, who was head of the space program, what would it take to get to the moon? This is before we'd gone to the moon. Wernher von Braun said, the will to do it. The will to do it. He didn't know how. Right? The how, because again, the how doesn't show up until you decide something is going to happen for you. So if you're setting goals, I'm so glad you brought that up. And I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that you brought that up. If you're setting goals that you think are quote unquote realistic, or like you know how to achieve them, it's a way of playing safe and playing small and trying not to get hurt. And that's no way to live. It's no way to live. We are not here to play it safe and play small. Like, that's a very unfulfilling life. And unfortunately, most people do that. And if you guys have ever read Top 5 Regrets of the Dying by Bronnie Ware, it's incredible. Has anybody read it? Give me some hearts, or like say yes in the comments if you have. It's such an amazing book. And one of the top 5 regrets of the dying, Bronnie was a hospice care worker, and she like helped people with their transition. It was that they didn't go for it. It was that they held back. It was that they played small. And, you know, they're on their deathbed having these regrets. And what I want to encourage you to do is decide now that you're not going to go to your deathbed with those regrets, and that you're going to embrace playing big, because the people who play big are the ones who actually make change in the world. They're the ones, everyone, you guys hear this, right? They're the ones who people say, oh, you're crazy, that's unrealistic, blah, blah, blah. But those are the only people who create real change. Elon Musk, right? If you look at what he's done, how many people told him he was crazy? How many people told him he couldn't do it? And now, how hot is Tesla stock, right? And how many of you have Teslas or want a Tesla? It's on the vision board. So it's being realistic is totally overrated. This is not at all about being realistic. And I tell my clients too, like, I hired a new financial coach today, and or I had a new financial coach. We had our first meeting today, and I told him up front, I was like, I do not play by normal rules, because when I play by normal rules, I can tell that I shrink inside and I get really mediocre results. I make my own rules, and the rules that I make create amazing results. Because again, with all of this, guys, we're creating differently. We're creating differently here. We're using energy. We're using energy on matter instead of matter on matter, which is, if you guys follow Dr. Joe Dispenza, it's what he teaches, it's what he talks about. This is where we access, when we learn to shift our energy, we access the realm, the invisible realm that exists, but you just can't see it. It's just like, gravity, like wind, like all of it, it exists, but you can't see it. You're accessing this realm where all possibilities exist and bringing it into you faster. So there's no limits to what you can do, to how much money you can make. We're actually going to talk about that some tonight. And you are asking for too little. Like I can tell you, I don't even need to know what amount of money you guys want to make. You're asking for too little, because you could literally create whatever you want. You could have whatever amount of money you want. And when I say that, if you feel like, when I said that, who felt like, oh no, that's not true? Like, just be honest and like, give me a heart or put something in the comments and let me know. That means you have resistance to money. And so it's so great that you're here, because we're going to work on fixing that. So David, I'm just looking at, your comment, it made me feel bad inside to hear. So one of your coworkers said, I had to tell my kids that money doesn't grow on trees. And doesn't that, like, when I hear that now, that like hurts my heart, because now those kids are going to grow up with that limiting belief. And unless, like, hopefully they come across material like this and they learn what's actually true. Like, money actually is trees, if you look at how it's made. But unfortunately, most people walk around with those limiting beliefs, right, around money. And a lot of you can probably relate to that too. Elsie's saying, I believe it now, in terms of you can have any amount you want. That's so awesome. And Elsie, I think, like, I know I'm just getting to know you, but that's a pretty fast transformation for you, right? Like, to now say you believe that you can create any amount you want, you can have any amount you want. Like, this doesn't have to take a long time, guys. It really doesn't. We make it take way longer than we need to. So let's talk about this process. So if you're joining for the first time tonight, welcome. And I know most of you, at least who I'm seeing your names on here. Hey, James, shout out to you. Yes, it is money night, my friend. I know you're about this, king of sales over there. So if you are joining for the first time, be sure to grab your free companion guide that goes with this series at elisearcher.com/resistance. If you've been here for a while, which I'm seeing a lot of you guys are, welcome back. I'm so glad to have you. I love talking about money. I get excited about it. I love money. I'll take all the money. I want you guys to have all the money, and let's do this together. Okay. So this is the wallet process. This is process number 15 in the book. Let's talk about when to use it, and then we'll talk about how to do it. So when to use it, 4 times. Number 1, when you want to attract more money into your experience. Number 2, when you want to improve the way you currently feel about money in order to allow even more to flow into your life. Number 3, when you want to get your juices flowing regarding your specific desire. Or number 4, when you feel that there's a shortage of money in your life. So some of those limiting beliefs that you guys mentioned in the comments before, right? They were about shortage of money. So this is going to be a perfect one for you to use. Now, here's the vibrational set point that you would use this process for. This is somewhere between, so if, again, grab your guide if you guys don't have it yet, you want to reference it here, but this is somewhere between a 6, which is hopefulness, and a 16, which is discouragement. So again, everything is frequency. We live in a planet that is nothing but energy. So it's all energy. Everything has a frequency and a vibration to it. And the way that your body tells you what your vibration is by how you feel. So your body's way of telling you, that's like your body's language, your body's way of telling you what vibrational point of attraction you're at, like what you're going to bring in more of, is by how you feel. So that's why we want to be able to get really in touch with, like, how am I feeling right now? And is it more of a hopefulness? Is it more of like a boredom? Is it more of a discouragement? And really just like practice this. And this is why I find, especially for, and again, I'm not big on like sweeping generalities, but I do find more like for my male clients, even, this is something where we got to practice checking in with, like, what is that feeling? Because a lot of times men are taught not to feel at all, right? It's like, just suck it up, push through it. You're not allowed to have feelings. And so you cut off this amazing guidance system that will help you know exactly where you are and what to do to get what you want. So it's that practice. So I really want to encourage you guys, like, tune in Who's been tuning in on a daily basis to how you're feeling, to notice your point of attraction? Just let me know in the comments if you have and what that's been like for you. Have you had trouble figuring out what emotion you're at, like what level you're at on the emotional scale, or has it felt easy? I'm just curious. I want to know like where you guys are at with this, but I wanted to take a moment on the importance of this because we do want to get really in tune with our body's guidance system. So you can always tell where you are. Okay, so I'm seeing hearts on Instagram. So it looks like we're doing that. That's good. Let me know if you guys are running into any issues with trying to figure out where you're at emotionally. Bambi's saying this past week for sure. Okay, good. Laura, I see your comment. I'm going to come back to that because I want to do some specific coaching on that. Elsie's saying, yes, it's gotten so much easier as I practice. Good. And it does. It just takes like tuning in, right? It takes practice. It takes tuning in. And I think that sheet, that emotional guidance sheet that you get for free with this series, you can use that as your reference all throughout the day to say like, am I feeling more gratitude or am I feeling more joy? Am I feeling more passion or am I feeling more contentedness? And that's a pretty easy distinction to make. But it's so powerful. Kim is saying, when I find that I'm low, I try to focus on gratitude and pray. Beautiful. Yes. Gratitude is like that peak emotion, gratitude and appreciation. So we can always find something to be grateful for. And oftentimes when we're feeling low, it's because we stopped that intentional practice of every day noticing what we're grateful for. This never ends, guys. As far as I know, this process of like really training your mind to focus on what you're grateful for, it never ends. At least it hasn't ended for me. And it is that daily practice that I want to encourage you to keep doing every single day for the rest of your life. Hey, Lori on LinkedIn. Sister, it's so good to see you. Welcome. So let's talk about why this process is helpful. And then let's get into the how. Okay. So why is this helpful? Money's important. Like, let's just call it what it is. In our society and the way we function, money is important. And it's a big area of focus, right? For most people, because they see it as like, it is part of your well-being to be able to live the life you want, to be able to support the causes you want, to be able to buy the clothes you want, like all of that, to be able to feed yourself. Money is our version of security in our society. And so money is tied to well-being. But here's what happens is that when you focus on bringing in more money, because we've talked about this, every subject is really two subjects, the desired thing and the lack of it. So this is law of polarity. We talk about universal laws, right? So law of polarity, everything has two sides. So what most people do, and I did this for the longest time without knowing it, is you'll focus on that amount of money you want to bring in, but then you feel lack. So when you focus on, I want $100,000 a year, but your feeling is like, I don't have it, right? Can you guys relate to this? Are any of you like, yeah, if I'm being honest, that's actually what's happening. And then that's your vibration. So your vibration is not in alignment with the having of the money, which means you're blocking it from coming to you. So this really got me. I want to read to you this line here. And I want you to write this down and remember this. This is so important because we're not taught this, okay? It is natural for all manner of abundance to flow easily into your experience. I want to read that again. It is natural for all manner of abundance to flow easily into your experience. So just take a moment and think about that. That if it's not flowing naturally and easily for you, that's actually not normal or not how it's supposed to be for you. Like, you are supposed to have whatever you desire, whatever that abundance is for you, flowing easily in. That's the natural flow of things. That's the natural order. We just get all kinked up with our limiting beliefs and it blocks it. But so this is like, I read that tonight while I was prepping for this and I was like, oh, I want to like have that tattooed somewhere. It's so good. So write that down. I'll say it one more time. It is natural for all manner of abundance to flow easily into my experience. So say that. That would be a wonderful new affirmation for you if you're finding any sort of limitations around money flowing in. And just practice believing that no, that's actually normal for me. Like, it's supposed to, and there's something wrong if it's not. So And how good does that feel, right? When we think about that, like that feels, to me, that feels amazing, because it relaxes you, right? When you hear that, like, oh, it's actually normal. It's supposed to flow. I can just let it flow and get out of the way and, and enjoy the experience of it. So what's great about this process, the wallet process that we're doing together tonight, is that it helps you offer a vibration that's compatible with the receiving of money instead of pushing it away. Because all subjects are two subjects. So when you focus on that amount of money that you want to allow to flow into you, doing this process in conjunction with it will help you get in alignment with it'll help you get your emotions to the point where you actually feel abundant so it can come in. Because we have to feel, the universe will only give you what you feel you deserve. So you must feel abundant and feel worthy in order for it to even be able to come to you. This is critically important. So how do you do it? This one is fun. You're going to it says obtain a $100 bill. So I was like, do we steal this $100 bill? Do we get it out of the ATM? Hopefully you just get the bill. You just get your dollar bill. Okay. Get a $100 bill and you're going to put it in your wallet or your purse. And then you're going to keep it with you all the time. And whenever you go to touch or hold your wallet or your purse, I want you to remember that you've got $100 in there. Okay. And feel that feeling. So feel the feeling of that added sense of security as you feel that $100. And that's actually something it's kind of like tangential, but related. I heard this from Jack Canfield once, that he always kept $100 bill in his wallet at all times, just because it was like his reminder to himself that he's abundant. So that's a practice I started implementing. As soon as I heard that, I grabbed my husband. I was like, we're both going to the ATM and we're getting $100 bill and we're putting it in our wallets just to have it, right? Just to have it there. Because for a long time, I didn't carry any cash, and I would find myself in situations where you actually needed cash and then having to say, shoot, well, we got to go to the ATM, or I quote unquote, I don't have it, which is, even if you have it, right, and your bank balance, if you don't have it on you physically, it's a lower vibration to have to say, I don't have it. So get in that habit of carrying a $100 bill with you. And then what you're going to do is, as you move throughout your day and you're going to the store, going to go order something online, you're going at Starbucks, you're getting coffee, just note everything that you could buy with that $100. Now, I'm not saying you have to buy anything, and that's actually the point of this, is that you don't spend it right up front, but note all the things that you could buy with that $100. And I started doing this even with things that are they feel way out of the realm of possibility right now. I love real estate shopping on Zillow and looking at a $10 million house and being like, I could buy that. I could have that. I could have that. I could have that. I could have that. Because it's retraining, because I wasn't trained I could have that growing up. And we will always match the vibration that our parents reached financially, for the most part, or whoever was around you a lot, unless you retrain your brain that you can have more. And so I'll look at things that feel out of the realm of possibility right now, but I'll practice looking at them and saying, I could have that. I could have that. I could have that. I could have that. Now with the $100, what's cool about that is that you actually could, in that moment in your physical reality, you could have that. Makia is saying it feels reassuring to know $100 is always there. Yeah, it's just part of taking care of yourself. I always have $100 on me. Make that your new go-to, and just let yourself feel that abundance. So what you're going to do though, is you're going to hold the money, and you're not going to spend it right away, because every time you think about it, what's happening is you're receiving the vibrational advantage of it. So what they recommend doing is hold it and look at 20 or 30 things that day and practice noticing that you could have that. So as you look at something online, again, I already gave the example, but practice 20 or 30 times that day, looking at things and saying I could actually have that. I could have that. Because what happens, and some of you are saying, well, $100 isn't actually that much, right? Today, it doesn't get you all that far. But what happens is, when you have done that 20 or 30 times, looked at things that were around $100 and said, I could have that, I could have that, I could have that. When you've done that 20 or 30 times in the day, you've actually achieved the vibrational feeling advantage of having spent $2,000 or $3,000. Does that make sense? So every time you're acknowledging that you could have something, that you have the power to buy something, what's happening is you add to your sense of financial well-being. And so your point of attraction around it begins to shift and begins to increase. So I'm just going to stop and check comments here for a moment before we go on, but I hope this is making sense. And let me know if you guys have questions in the comments. Macy, how are you? I'm so glad you're here, sister. Oh, and Daniel, welcome. I'm just checking like new people who are coming in. It's great to have you. So James is saying, I'm catching emotions that used to trigger me into a negative spiral, but allowing myself with ease to let them fly by and enjoy the moment more that's calm, grateful, positive. I love that. I love that. Lori's saying, I try to focus on gratitude daily, catching myself daily. Yes. Yep. And what I would say, Lori, too, just to help you take it to the next level is release the word try. So just say, I focus on gratitude daily and I catch myself. So try, and this is one, like, I've got to catch myself on it too, but trying sends a signal of not having to the universe. So just drop that word. It's like Yoda, right? There is no try, there's only do. So we can all drop the word trying from our vocabulary. So I focus on gratitude daily. And you repeat it again and again and again, and then it becomes your reality. James is saying, I've had $100 bill in my wallet for almost a year. Yeah, that's great. And it probably makes you feel more abundant, right, James? Lori's saying, I always have cash on me, but not $100 bill. Okay, well, you know what your assignment is, sister. You go get that $100 bill tomorrow and feel that. And it's not that you can't spend it either. Like part of this is learning to let money flow easily to you and through you. So this is another universal law, okay? The law of circulation, that when we hold on to money and we don't let it go, that it, like out of fear or scarcity, that's actually blocking more from coming into you. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. There's some really good stuff at the end of this chapter about that. But when you hold on to it and you don't let it flow through you, then you're blocking it. So that's a universal law called the law of circulation. So with this process, like you got $100 on you. If you see something that you really want, like get it, like use the money. Money is a tool to be used. Money's meant to be a servant, not your master. So it's a tool to be used. Let it, and then you go get your next $100 bill, right? So it's like that level of ease of just like, let it flow. Okay. Let the money flow. I remember I was, I think I can't remember where I shared this. It may have been in this series. But I remember I follow Catherine Zenkina, Manifestation Babe. I don't know if any of you guys follow her, but I think she's wonderful. And she was talking about like with her, she started having multi-million-dollar launches and she learned to talk about that money with the ease of like, pass the salt. Like it's no bigger deal than that. So I want you, got like a gnat flying here. I want you, if you feel any sort of like, ooh, can I really like spend 100 and then get another 100, right? Like if that's kind of your level of vibration and resistance right now, to start practicing like that feeling of it's as simple as pass the salt. I need another $100. I'm going to go get it. Simple, easy, like not a big deal. Okay. Thank you for the hearts. James is saying definitely adds a feeling of safety. Yeah, it does. And it's like a little practice you can do that's going to help you raise your vibration. Makia is saying, I never carry cash now in fear it would be stolen. Ooh, this new awareness has brought about a shift tonight. Okay, Makia, that's so good. And I'm so glad you got this new awareness, because whatever that, like, if that's the energy you have towards the money of, I have to like keep it away from other people so it's not stolen, you know enough now, because we've been working together, to know that that's not serving you in any way financially. So this is actually why, like, we used to have an emergency fund, my husband and me, and we stopped calling it that. And I know like the diehard Dave Ramsey fans, and you guys are, if you're following me, you're probably not a diehard Dave Ramsey fan. He's got some good points, but I don't agree with a lot of it. But he calls it like the emergency fund. I would never put that language on my money, because again, you're giving it the purpose of bringing in an emergency. I like a peace of mind fund. I like a financial relaxation fund, but I don't like an emergency fund. Like I would never use that language on it, because literally you're asking the universe to give you an emergency. Makia, for you, like I want you to really practice that feeling of security and that feeling of trust of other people. Okay, because that's really what it's about. And I know that's not like you learned that from someone else, to not trust other people. So I want you to really practice like deciding for yourself that other people are safe, that your money is safe with other people too, and that other people can be trusted, because you can't live in this society and in this world in a really not only impactful way, but also an enjoyable way if you're in fear of other people. And I had similar programming growing up, and I had to unprogram it. So I understand if that's where you're coming from, but that's a big one to shift for you for sure. Letitia's saying, I never have cash on me, but wow, that makes so much sense. Thank you. You're so welcome. Yeah, I'm excited for you to go get your $100 tomorrow and then like practice this. Yeah, David's saying great mind shift on how you label money. Yeah, it all matters. It's like this little stuff that we don't think about, but it all matters. So peace of mind fund all day long. Financial relaxation all day long, never emergency fund. Never, never, never. So let's talk about let's kind of wrap this. And there's some really powerful, thank you for the hearts. There's some really, really powerful things here at the end. Let me close this. Things here at the end of the chapter that I want to talk about with you. So here's what I want you to remember. This can happen fast. Like that financial shift can happen fast for you because you don't have to have been abundant in order to attract abundance to you. You just have to feel it. So the universe is always responding to your point of attraction in the moment. Now and now and now and now and now and now and now. So it doesn't matter what you did before. It doesn't matter what you had before. It's how are you showing up now? So it doesn't matter if yesterday you were in a ton of anxiety and fear and scarcity. Make the decision right now to flip into gratitude. And again, you can control how you feel by controlling your thoughts, which is what this is all about. Make the decision now that you're going to have appreciation and gratitude, and you're going to show up as that person who has the amount of money that you desire, and it must come to you. And it's not going to take this is where we don't play by normal rules here. Like, I'm not a fan of playing by normal rules because they're boring and they take a long time. I'm a fan of playing by our own rules because we know how to use energy to create what we want. So by now being in that higher vibrational point of attraction, the universe responds to that. So if you shift, like you start practicing, maybe you've been bringing in $5,000 a month, but you decide that you want to start bringing in $1 million a month. Okay, you start practicing that and feeling that. You don't have any idea how in the hell it's going to happen. You don't need to. It doesn't matter, right? The how shows up as you start practicing that and feeling that. Now, do we control how long it's going to take? No. Every seed has a gestation period. And if it's a bigger manifestation that you have more resistance around, then could it take longer? Of course. But that's I want to go back to the whole premise of this book, which is so true, is ask and it's given. It's done. The moment you ask for it, it is done. Your only job is then to catch up with it vibrationally. And the thing that delays it is you spending time in shitty, low-level thoughts of not having it. Like, that's what it is. And sometimes I curse when I get fired up about this stuff and this is as much for me as for you guys. Like, I want you to know, like, I practice this daily. Okay. I practice this daily, but I've understood now what's on the other side of actually doing this and practicing it and having that physical manifestation come in quickly. This is so true. This is so real. This is so important for you to get and to start practicing. So you can start right now practicing that vibration, that feeling of being the type of person who has the amount of money you want, and it must come to you, and it will come way faster than you could have expected. Now, again, you must act. So as you feel better, as you feel more in alignment with that amount of money you want to bring in, and I'm just going to go with $1 million a month because right now that's what I'm having fun with, thinking about. And so by saying it out loud, I'm reaffirming that for myself. So having fun with that and feeling that, and then noticing what are the ideas that show up that you must act on them, and you must act on them like when they show too. So this is not you sitting around letting it come to you without taking any action. You must take action, and it will be action that stretches you. It will be action that gets you wildly out of your comfort zone. I've been doing this series, guys. Like, I had doubts and limiting beliefs around like, oh, I've got all these corporate clients on LinkedIn. Like, are they going to think I'm like a wackadoo, like coming on and talking about this? But I felt called to do it. And so I'm just doing it. And I got out of my comfort zone, and now I get to hang out with you guys every night, and you're amazing. And I love it. But so the things you will do will stretch you, but it's that aligned action that feels energizing, that feels fun, that feels like, ooh, this is pushing my edge, but I'm enjoying the process. And you keep doing that, and you keep doing that, and you keep doing that, and it must come to you. Are you guys getting this? Like, let me know in the comments, is this making sense? Are you with me? Do you have questions on this? But this is where that quantum leap can happen fast. It can happen fast because you just match the frequency of it, and it's got to come. It's got to come. That's it. So the problem is not that you ask for too much, it's that you ask for too little, because you try to be realistic and you try to like fit in the box of what society has said for you. And I do not follow people who tell me to be realistic. I don't work with, like, I'm right now in a process of totally revamping my team around me, because if someone is like, oh, Elise, you should be more realistic, it's like, no, you're not my person. I'm sorry. Because being realistic has gotten me nowhere of what I want to be in life, and it won't get you where you want to go either. It won't. Okay. Yes, this is making sense. Good, good, good. Okay. Yes. Good. Faye, $1 million a month. Yes, sister. And you're going to be part of that. We're doing this together. It's happening. Yes. James, I know and feel exactly what you're talking about. Yes, yes, yes. So good. They would say, I want to play this over and over. Guys, and to let it sink in. Yes, play this, repeat. It is repetition. I listen to the same thing every morning. I've listened to the same chapters every morning of Science of Getting Rich for months now. And because what happens, and this is the discipline, most people won't make the effort to listen every day to the same thing because they get bored. The most successful people will study something until it becomes them. And every day as you study this material and you let it sink in, you change. So you're going to hear it differently because you will have had an experience that's like, oh, wow, this moved from my brain into my being. Like, I get it now and I hear it differently. So that repeat again and again and again and again and again, you must like put it on repeat. Listen to, if this one in particular is speaking to you, play it again and again and again and again and again for months. Like, make a commitment. I'm going to play this for 60 days every morning while I'm getting ready, and I'm going to listen to it and I'm going to let it sink in. I listen to like Joe Dispenza and Bob Proctor every morning, and it's the same things. They're saying the same things again and again and again, but I hear it differently each time. Okay. And guys, on, just so you know, on Instagram, we will hopefully stay live. If I lose you because my phone dies, hop on over to Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, but you can stick with me for now. I think we're going to make it. I just wanted to give you a heads up if we drop off. Elizabeth is saying, I never worried about money. It always finds me and flows to me. Yeah. And Elizabeth, I love that mindset. Like I have grown into that, but I didn't used to live that way. And I used to be like, how can people live like that? But because that's your belief system, right? It does. And it's easy for you. And it's all just what you believe. That's it. It's all just what you believe. So here we go. Okay. Important final pieces to read here to you. Where is this on the page? I'm just going to read this to you. This is so important. Any feeling of lack of abundance causes a resistance that does not allow abundance. So let that sink in. Any feeling of lack of abundance causes a resistance that does not allow abundance. So I want you to start noticing when you feel a lack, when like you feel that in your body, you have a thought that creates a feeling of scarcity or lack. I want you to start seeing it as you're actually like putting up a shield that blocks the money or whatever you want from coming to you. So we've got to learn to really, really tune in and notice when we're feeling that lack and get out of it, like shift out of it. Even if it's the current physical reality, it will stay your current physical reality unless you start doing this, unless you start changing and speaking and thinking this way. Okay, this is critical. And what happens is as you do this process, like very cool things will start to happen for you. Seemingly magical things will happen. You'll notice like money seems to stretch farther, or you'll get unexpected discounts, or you'll get unexpected money from people. You'll get clients who want to pay you more because you're at a higher vibrational point of attraction. And again, we got to remember, like, the how is not your business. So as you increase your vibrational point of attraction and you're a match for more money to come in, it's not your job to dictate or determine how it comes in. So this is where you can drop some of the need to control it. For those of you who are entrepreneurs, who have a business, like your mind probably goes to, okay, it's going to come in through my business. And is that a likely channel of how it's going to come in? Sure, right? And so your job is to act on the programs you feel called to launch or the clients you feel called to reach out to have a sales call. But if it doesn't come in that way, it must come in another way. So we have to remember that your business and sales, they're just one channel that can bring in money to you. There's infinite channels through which money can come. And we stop the flow by getting too overly concerned with how it's meant to come in. So you don't need to worry about the how. You focus on that amount you want and that feeling of what it feels like for it to come in. And then you get excited. Then you're in eager anticipation of, ooh, how is it going to come in? Like when I go to the mail now, I'm like, ooh, am I going to get a check? Like what's going to happen? And my money often comes in through clients and through programs, but it comes in other ways too. But get excited because you'll start to have a different relationship with money and it'll start to be way easier for you and flow in more easily too. So, ooh, this is good. Here's another thing that they say that I want you to really let sink in. There's like some good writer downers tonight. Okay. There is no limit to what the universe will yield to you, but you have to feel good about money in order to allow it into your experience. You have to feel good about great abundance before you will allow the pleasure of great abundance to flow into your experience. So I want you to notice right now, is there even a bit of you that has a judgment on people who have a lot of money? Like, is there even a bit of you, or even tonight, as I've talked about how like I love money and I will always take more of it and I appreciate it, has part of you gone into judgment about that? Because if that's the case, that's blocking you. And there's no judgment from me because I used to think that way. But that is blocking you from receiving more. So now what I do is when I go through like a part of town that's nicer than where I live, I look at it and I celebrate those people, right? Like how many of us were like, oh, those like, filthy rich people, right? Like you hear this on the news or people get condemned for like being successful and all of it. And it's just this like societal phenomenon we've created. I want you to start celebrating people who have what you want. I want you to start celebrating money and saying out loud, I love money. I'm so grateful for money. Thank you so much. And it's not the love money like money is my master, but it's like, I love receiving money. I'm so grateful for it. It's this wonderful tool that I can use. Yes, I'll take more, please. Like as it comes in, even if $1 comes into you tomorrow, I want you to say, thank you so much, more, please. Thank you so much. I'll take more of that. Thank you so much. Yes, I would like more. And you keep that vibration with it. And then you celebrate people who have what you want and be like, good for them. That's so awesome. Like instead of inside like being jealous or criticizing them because that's blocking you from receiving it. Okay. That is blocking you from receiving it. You need to start celebrating people who have what you want and it will come to you. Anyone you see who has what you want, they are a mirror for you of what's possible for you. The only reason that you are even noticing them out of all the billions of people you could notice in the world is that they have what you want, which means it's meant for you. So get busy celebrating them and appreciating them and then asking them how they did it and like hire them as a coach or mentor, follow them on social media, like do whatever the thing is that you need to do to get closer to them to find out how they did it. So you can bring that in for you because it is meant for you. It's like if you spot it, you got it, right? Like if there's something that you see, whether it's in me or someone else you follow or whoever, that you're like, I want that for myself. It's the only reason you recognize it is because it's already in you. The only reason you recognize and like pay attention to people who make more money than you do right now is because that is a latent potential within you. Your only job is to activate it by using what we're talking about here. So this is so important. Okay, I'm just going to check comments here, and I'm going to start to wrap up here. So two kind of calls to action, and then if you guys have questions or comments, pop them now in the chat so I can answer them before we hop off. Remember, tomorrow night, for those of you who are joining live, tomorrow night, which is Wednesday the 28th, we're meeting at 7 o'clock Eastern. So 7 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night, then we're back to 8 the last night, which is Thursday, the 29th, 7 o'clock Eastern. And I really do just want to invite you guys, like if this is resonating, join She Sells All Access. It's super affordable. It's my membership site. It's $28 a month. And it's like a deep dive into all of this. And you're going to get live coaching from me. We're doing, part of why I'm bringing it up this week is we've got a live training on Friday. So you can join us for the live training on Friday about universal laws and how to, like, what universal laws do you need to know to create a lot of money in your life? And yeah, Elsie, I see the hearts. You're going to be there, I think, which I'm so excited that you're there. I know we've got a lot of people in here who are members, and yeah, it's super affordable. It's fun. It's like, this stuff is so important to learn. So elisearcher.com/training if you want to join that and get access to that training. I'm just checking comments here. James said about 5 minutes ago, knowing that those thoughts and feelings that I used to tolerate for so long don't serve me well anymore makes it easier to let go faster now and not be affected by it. Yes, 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 yes. They don't serve you. Exactly. We must be so conscious of what we allow to come into us, whether it's a thought, whether it's a feeling, whether it's a person. You got to really, really mind your energy and make sure that you're only allowing in things that are a match for your best and highest good. Lori is saying, money flows to me whether I work for it or not. Yes, so money flows to you consistently, right? And this whole concept of like, I have to work hard for money. No, that's another limiting belief. You show up and you like, now, do you need to take action to receive money? Yes, usually, right? But I want you to start thinking about, it's like, if working hard was what was required for money, construction workers, maids, like, they would be the highest paid teachers, and it's like, there's so much respect for all these professions, but they would be the highest paid professions out there. And that's not how it works. You got to know how money actually works. And it's a tool, and it shows up because of a service you're providing. So this is another law, and we're actually talking about this on Friday, the law of compensation. There are 3 things that determine how much money you'll bring in. So if you want to join and learn about that, definitely sign up for She Sells All Access so you can join us and learn about law of compensation and how to leverage it and use it to bring in more money. Let's see here. Comments. We are all people and all achievers, so we must not feel less than. Yeah, exactly. You have to remember who you are. Okay. Just like closing out tonight, I want you each to remember who you are. You are spirit. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. You are bigger than any of this. So you are bigger than any amount of money. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. This is not this body, I call it like the meat suit. It's not you. It's your body. It's what you're here in, but it's not you. You are God consciousness, like whatever and again, I'm like, whatever your God spirit source is for you, like I really honor that. But I will say very publicly here what I believe: you are God consciousness. So you are God experiencing himself, herself, itself as you. And so you have infinite power within you to create, to have what you want. That's part of your experience here. So it's about letting it in. Okay, allowing yourself that experience to be that spiritual being having a human experience here on this planet. And it's beautiful and it's fun and it takes a lot of the pressure off, right, guys? So really, really good dialogue tonight. I'm so grateful for all of you who are here live, or if you're watching the replay. I'm so glad that you joined. Let me know, like, send me a DM if you guys have questions on this, or if there's more that you want to study or learn more about. Tomorrow night, we're talking about how to stop it in your tracks if you're starting to go in the wrong direction with your vibrations. So it's a really important topic. You're so welcome, Elsie. Thank you for being here. This is a really important topic tomorrow night. So we're going to talk about, like, if you have a pattern of going down the wrong track with your words, with your thoughts, how do you nip it in the bud? How do you sound like a crazy person for a while and let it be okay? But how do you make quick shifts to get your energy back to where you want it to be so you can bring in what you want? Letitia, I'm so glad you were here. Well, I think you've been on a few times. I'm not sure, but whether this was your first time or a couple times you've been here, I think you have been here a few times. I'm so glad that it was helpful to you. It was wonderful to have you in the comments too, and I hope you'll join us again tomorrow night. All right, friends, have a beautiful evening. It was so wonderful to have you, and I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow night at 7:00 Eastern for our next installment of this series. Lots of love. Have a beautiful evening, and I'll see you guys soon. All right, take care. Bye.